Guys, there were two things that we knew last week. Number one, whenever the S&P 500 comes down, as it was expected to, then it will find very good support at 200-day EMA. 200-day EMA. And this was my previous S&P 500 technical analysis, and you can clearly see that a movement, a sustained movement, or any movement below 200-day EMA as such, it was not expected. And even if the S&P 500 goes down, then also we will see a reversal. And the second thing was that because the S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and the entire US stock market is trading true bearish, right? This means that this will be the movement of the S&P 500 and the entire US stock market. So there will be three legs: number one, number two, number three. Now that it is clear that this the first leg is complete, second leg is almost complete, and now the S&P 500 and the entire US stock market is expected to enter in the third leg. Now if you have subscribed to my YouTube channel for last many months or years, then you know the 4291, the magic of 4291 and the importance of 4291. Anything above 4291 bullish, anything below 4291 bearish, below 4291 towards 4155. Okay, so I will discuss these numbers in very detail in this S&P 500 technical analysis. And guys, last week I have split the probable movement of the S&P 500 in two parts, part 1 and part 2. However, I have received many requests and people asked me to not to split this the probable movement in two parts, because the numbers are very important. Okay, like 4291, 4265, 4237, 4155, etc. Considering these requests, I will not split the probable movement in two parts. Okay, and I will give you the probable movement as I used to give. Anyways, guys, every week, once the week is over, then I publish these the updates that I've given to my Patreon community members here on my website. Okay, all of these the updates, and you can check the accuracy, you can check each and everything. Okay, it is there, and tons of valuable information is there. Okay, in these the updates. Now, guys, I'm going to discuss the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. And the first point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the weekly chart. Okay, so as you know that weekly chart gives us the clear picture of what is going to happen in the coming week, in the coming month, or in the coming quarter, right? So these the fall, okay, this kind of movement, this the fall, okay, this the reversal, and these kind of movement. So generally, okay, we are able to see, or we are able to make the predictions, okay, through the weekly chart, because weekly chart itself is enough, okay, in order to predict this the big movement, right? So weekly chart means the hawk eye view, the big picture. The second point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the daily chart. Okay, so daily chart means that what is happening, okay, in this the short time frame, like, okay, within 2 days, within 1 week, okay, what is expected to happen in next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So whatever is there in the short term picture, okay, that is the daily chart. So guys, many weeks ago, okay, we used to have this the support and resistance levels, and you know that my support and resistance levels are extremely sensitive. For example, if you notice this particular candle, okay, this candle on Wednesday, it came down to what? It came down to 4238, right? And what was my support level? 4237. And these support and resistance levels are exclusive to my Patreon community members only. Then comes the third point of the agenda, and the third point of the agenda is the probable movement of the S&P 500 from October 2nd to October 6th. So previous week, okay, we have seen GDP data, GDP, PCE, and core PCE data. Okay, so I will cover GDP, PCE, and core PCE in the third point of the agenda. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss these separate. Okay, within 5 minutes I will cover, okay, these two. So earlier it was 4527, 4527, and when the S&P 500 failed at 4527 again and again, it was clear that now it is coming down to 4291. Now question is that what is after 4291? Okay, so after 4291 we have 4155. Okay, this is there, and actually it is not just 4155, it is 4035. Okay, so once the S&P 500 starts trading below 4291 and sustains below 4291, it will be heading to 4035. In between 4291 and 4035, it will take a break around 4155 approximately. Okay, I will clear this number in the coming weeks. Okay, so this is the midpoint, you can say. Okay, not midpoint, but 4155 or 4185. Okay, I need to check. It will be there, but from 4291, it will be heading to 4035. Okay, however, this will not be a very straight fall. Okay, so again there will be some ups and downs. Okay, some numbers and all, so this will be there, right? So I will discuss this thing in this last point of the agenda, that is the probable movement of the S&P 500 from October 2nd and October 6th. But the problem is that people, they simply do not watch these the parts. Okay, and they jump onto this a probable movement. But I have repeatedly mentioned that when I say probable movement, I cover probable movement most of the part here, some part here, some part here, means all of these are sections. I cover the probable movement. I discuss, okay, many cases. Okay, I discuss the Dow Jones, Nasdaq. So all of these are sections. They contains tons of valuable information. Now guys, I would like to add a small disclaimer to this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis, that this S&P 500 technical analysis is not a financial advice or an investment advice in any form or in any manner. This means that whatever profits and losses you are seeing, these profit and losses are all yours. So guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to join my Patreon community in order to get these daily updates, the daily analysis of the S&P 500 from Monday through Friday, as well as the stock market opportunities in the premium stocks of the US stock market. So you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now guys, I am going to discuss the first point of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. And the first point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the weekly chart. Weekly chart, okay. W as in weekly. Weekly means that one candle represents 1 week, not 1 day or 1 hour. One candle means 1 week, right? So last week, if you see, last week, because the candle on the weekly chart closed below this the moving average, so it was clear, it was very much clear that now any reversal will be limited. Rather, there will be bearish sentiments and there will be the fall. Okay, so see, this is the magic of the candles. Even if you know nothing and you know only the candles, then also you can make a lot of money. You can predict, okay, a lot of things. Now anyways, so this is this particular candle. Okay, this particular candle, it was for the previous week and it's a small candle. This small bearish candle has formed after this heavy bearish candle. Okay, and this is normal. So when we interpret the candle, this particular candle, then it's not a perfect spindle. There is no defined shape of the candle. This means that there are bearish sentiments. That's it, nothing else. Nothing else. Okay, it is not indicating a reversal. It is not indicating this thing, that thing. Nothing. Simply the bearish sentiments. Okay, this means that whatever the bearish this a trend we have seen. Okay, this is expected to continue. Yes, there will be a reversal. That reversal, okay, I will discuss later. Just like last week on Monday, if you have noticed that on Monday we have seen an intraday bullish reversal. Okay, and if you have subscribed to my YouTube channel and if you have watched my previous S&P 500 technical analysis, then I believe that you have made some good money on Monday, because you knew that this will simply saturate the stochastic RSI and then a sudden and a surprise reversal. 1% reversal was there on Monday. Okay, intraday, right? So anyways, yeah, so this particular thing, okay, this is a reversal and all. Okay, I will discuss later, but as of now, simply bearish sentiments and nothing else, right? Now when we look into these technicals, okay, so the most important part here is as of now, S&P 500 through the technicals 1 2 3 4 and 2 and okay is 70% bearish. Okay, now why we are seeing this the bearishness? What is the reason of this the bearishness? Technically, okay, see, there are a lot of these the factors, and there is a very simple principle that whenever the MACD and the stochastic RSI are aligned in a particular direction, then that direction becomes the direction of the market. As simple as that. Okay, a number of times, hundreds of times. Okay, I have repeated this particular concept. And if you see, MACD is bearish, stochastic RSI is bearish, the trend is bearish, there is bearish pressure. There is bearish pressure, right? Now, when we are expecting a good reversal, okay, that the good reversal will come, okay, either there comes, the saturation on the daily chart, which as of now is not there in the picture, because the S&P 500 on Monday gave a reversal, and I guess on Thursday also, Wednesday or Thursday, okay, it has given this the reversal. Okay, because of that, the stochastic RSI, it become non-zero and is very much in a position where it has created a more than enough room for the S&P 500 to fall. Okay, now what can save the S&P 500 here, okay, from this the heavy fall? This will be the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart. Okay, and guys, this is what the probable movement, okay, I am talking about, right? So many of you simply skip these the parts and then look into, okay, this is the last part. So I may or may not discuss, okay, this there in the last part, okay, but that is why I recommend, that you should watch this the technical analysis in order to get a clear picture. So as of now, the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart looks like it is, almost very near to zero. If there comes a gap down open, which we are expecting, and I will tell you, okay, why we are expecting. Okay, last week also we have expected that on Monday there will be a gap down open, or irrespective of any open there will be a bearish movement. So on Monday we have seen a gap down open, that was there, right? This week also we are expecting the same thing. Now next week, as soon as it goes red, okay, then I need to calculate and I need to check whether the K channel of the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart will become zero or not. If the K channel of the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart hits zero, okay, then it means something like here it was not back in May 2022, also not here it was, looks like here it was, okay, and then we have seen the next week very heavy bullish reversal, extremely heavy bullish reversal. Okay, yep, it was also kind of here also it was there here. So you can see very heavy bullish candles, extremely heavy bullish candles. Okay, anyways, so if it happens, okay, if this the K equal to 0.00 is seen, okay, in the next week, and if you are my Patreon community member, okay, then I will tell you, okay, that when exactly we are expecting a reversal, because a reversal will be there, okay, and this will be a very heavy reversal. Question is that from what levels the reversal will be there, okay, and whether the S&P 500 will give just one more weekly candle or not. Okay, so this is very important, so that you can simply book your bearish profits and re-enter bullish, or just wait for this lower high to be formed. So now this is clear that as of now the only thing that can save the S&P 500 and the entire stock market, US stock market, is the technical reversal. This technical reversal, okay, it will come when the stochastic RSI hits zero. Okay, other than that there is no other technical this reversal, okay, that we can see on the daily or the weekly chart. Okay, so this is there. Okay, on Monday only, okay, we'll come to know whether it is hitting zero or not. If it fails to hit zero, okay, the next week further bearish movement, in that case next week, okay, that's second week of the October, then only we will see, okay, it is hitting this is the number. Other than the technicals, only this the non-technical means the news or the economic data can save the stock market. Okay, however, as of now, there are multiple things that are not supporting, okay, this any good bullish movement in the US stock market. So through all other technical indicators, saturation and all, everything looks good, and yes, there is more than enough room, okay, in the bearish side, if the S&P 500 wants to give up, and if it wants to give up, like how much? If the S&P 500 is planning to give up more than 6%, 6% will be 5% or so. Yep, so that will be around the number that I mentioned, that is 4035. Okay, because once the S&P 500 sustains below 4291, then it will be heading to 4035. Okay, intermittently there are many support levels, it will come down, it will see a reversal, then it will come down. but eventually it will be coming down to 4035. Question is that exactly when, okay, in which particular month we are expecting the 4035, or in which particular week, that is the question, particularly if you are trading in the options. Okay? So guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now guys, I'm going to discuss the second point of the agenda, and the second point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the daily chart. This is the daily chart. D as in daily chart. Daily chart means that the one candle represents one day, not 1 hour or 1 week. One candle means one day. Now at first let's look into the candle itself. A heavy bearish candle, okay, indicating bearish sentiments, right? Other than that, there is no defined shape of the candle. Okay, fine. But the most important part of this candle is the closing. The closing of the candle is at 4288. Okay, now why this is important? Because my golden resistance or support level, okay, it is 4291. Now you can see that the S&P 500 has closed below 4291. That is why this is very much significant, and that is why we are anticipating either a gap down open on Monday, or irrespective of any open, okay, a bearish movement, some bearish movement initially, right? So this is the magic of the levels, okay, and as such, just looking into the candle or these things, okay, you might not be able to identify this thing. Now yes, the technicals. If you look into the technicals, as of now, the only thing that is supporting the S&P 500 is the 200-day EMA. Okay, this is approximately at 4265. Okay, however, the S&P 500 has already sustained, okay, for some time. Okay, that is more than enough. More than enough. Okay, so as of now, bearish sentiments and all, yes, 4265 will again come into the picture. Okay, and again test. Okay, the test retest of 4265, and then we will see, okay, whether it sustains or not, right? So I'll discuss more in the probable movement, the last point. Now if you look into all of these technical indicators, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and everything, bearish, 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 and 100% absolute bearish or true bearish on the daily chart. Okay, the most important part is that it came down, moved up, failed to give a closing above this moving average that would have otherwise given the S&P 500 some breather, so that it it can move towards 4400, but no, it failed again. Okay. However, it will come down, then it will retest, and then this kind of movement. Okay, this is how it works, and this is the natural flow of the stock market. And if you see that this was my pre-market update on Friday, okay, and I've informed my community members that the trend is bearish, and whatever reversal we are seeing is a natural reversal or the natural flow of the stock market in the bearish trend. However, this the reversal. Okay, so on Thursday we have seen a green candle, then on Friday we have seen a gap up open. Okay, so whatever this thing is there, it's just a natural flow, okay, after coming down, okay, this much, just a little reversal. However, this is not the change of trend, but this is not the change of trend, right? This means that until and unless there comes a true change of trend from bearish to bullish, every reversal will be seen as an opportunity to go bearish on the reversals. So this is just a reversal, it's not a change of trend. Okay, and what we do here in this case, we short, okay, we go bearish on these the reversals. So on Friday itself, it moved, it gave this gap up open, it failed to sustain and came down. So just go and short and buy put options and make money, as simple as that. Now the most important part on this the daily chart of the S&P 500 is, if you notice the stochastic RSI, okay, this is the stochastic RSI. The stochastic RSI is trading non-zero. Okay, and thanks to this 1, 2 and 3, these 3 green candles, because of these 3 candles, the stochastic RSI is now non-zero. And because the stochastic RSI is non-zero, okay, and once again, okay, no matter what, the stock market will remain bearish even if everything looks green, right? So what does that mean? This means that even though you might be thinking okay that it is going to give okay a reversal, fine, it may or may not, depends on multiple factors. Okay, and because it has closed below 4291, okay, that itself is the one of the big thing or the biggest thing. Okay, so even if it looks green, then also it will be bearish. Okay, because the trend is bearish. Now because the stochastic RSI K and the D are non-zero, not zero. Okay, this means that as of now the S&P 500 is in a comfortable position, and now okay, it will be seen as a blessings in disguise. Okay, a blessing in disguise. In disguise means that now there is no technical indicator on the daily chart to stop the fall. Okay, earlier it was the stochastic RSI that has actually given okay this the intraday reversal. Okay, but now no, because the stochastic RSI is non-zero. Okay, all of these are technical indicators are already bearish. Now there is more than enough room in the bearish side, and if let's say okay if there comes like 3% fall within a day or 4% fall within a day, or just back to back every day there comes these the red candles, then also the stochastic RSI will not go bearish, it will not be seen saturated, at least for continuously for 3-4 days it can go red, not a problem, there won't be any problem. Okay, intermittently on the lower level charts intraday, okay, 10-20 points reversal that will be there, but again then it will fall. Okay, so this is there with the stochastic RSI. Anyways, whenever it happens, and if you are my Patreon community member, then I will inform you through these updates. And if you want to join my Patreon community in order to get these the daily updates, the daily analysis of the S&P 500 from Monday through Friday, and also the stock market opportunities in the premium stocks, then let me tell you that how you can join my Patreon community. So in order to join my Patreon community, I have given the link in the description of this YouTube video and also in the comment section. When you follow that link, then you will see that this is my Patreon page and this is my Patreon profile. And on my Patreon page, you will see that there are these the two tiers. Okay, the only difference in these two tiers or two levels is the geographical location. Otherwise, these are same. Okay, this one is the daily S&P 500 updates for non-US and Canada residents, okay, from Asia, Oceania, South America, Europe, Middle East, okay, and all. And this is the daily S&P 500 updates for US and Canada residents only. Okay, so when you opt for either of these, then you will get the daily S&P 500 analysis updates and probable movement from Monday through Friday, as well as the stock market opportunities, minimum 5 to 10 every week. And if you see that many people have joined my Patreon community for last many days, weeks and months, okay, and they are getting these are daily updates, the daily analysis of the S&P 500 as well as the stock market opportunities from Monday through Friday, each and everything. So guys, whenever you want to join my Patreon community, I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now guys, I'm going to discuss the third and the last point of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. And in this the last point of the agenda, I will discuss that how the S&P 500 is expected to trade in between October 2nd, that is Monday, through October 6th, that will be Friday. So a few things, okay, that are going to impact the movement of the S&P 500 and the entire US stock market the next week. The very first thing is that the GDP. Okay, last week we have seen that the GDP, okay, it came as was expected by the Wall Street. Okay, previous quarter it was 2%. The GDP, okay, it has grown by 2%, and in that the last quarter, but in the recent quarter, okay, it has the GDP has grown by 2.1%. Okay, means the economy is holding. So, and it can be clearly seen in the pre-market update on September 28th that this thing, okay, it is a negative news for the stock market. However, in last few days we have seen heavy bearishness, which was technical, of course, but and also the stock market was pricing in this GDP data. Okay, so if you see that the GDP data, it was published on this Thursday. Okay, that was September 28th. Okay, and I mentioned that this is a negative news. However, the stock market has already priced in this the GDP data, that the GDP data will be okay from 2% to 2.1%. This means that the stock market has already given its move even before the data was published. That is why we were expecting that that the stock market may not react to this the data at all. Okay, and then we have seen that no, there was not, there's the bearishness. It came down, and yes, it has tested the 4265 level. It has sustained. So technically it has tested 4265, sustained. Okay, then it was able to move up, as simple as that. Now the second measure, or this the second important point, is the PCE and the core PCE data. So the summary of the PCE and the core PCE data was that the PCE and the core PCE data that was published, this will be seen either neutral or positive, but not negative. This means that either the S&P 500 will hold around the levels, okay, wherever, okay, it was, or it will simply follow the trend. In case if it goes neutral, then it will follow the trend. But whenever it follows the trend, then again, okay, 4291 will be there in the picture, and even if the S&P 500 gives up, then 4291 will be tested, and only after the testing, okay, at 4291, we will come to know what are the true intentions of the S&P 500. The stock market failed to move up, and there were these three reasons. Okay, the very first reason was, the primary reason is that the stock market is trading bearish. This means that the bearish pressure, this means that there is the bearish pressure, okay, on the entire US stock market. The secondary reason is that the stock market is convinced that the Feds will raise the rates in the month of November. And the third and the most important reason is that the expected government shutdown. Okay, and these were the reasons because of which the S&P 500 failed, and the entire US stock market failed to give any bullish movement. Rather, okay, it came down. Now let's talk about the technicals and the probable movement here. Before that, one more thing that you need to understand is the Dow Jones. Okay, Dow Jones has Dow Jones has closed at 33,507. There are two most important things here in case of the Dow Jones. Number one, unlike S&P 500, S&P 500 has managed to sustain above 200-day EMA, but the Dow Jones failed to sustain above that 200-day EMA. Rather, it is trading below 200-day EMA. Number two, S&P 500 has closed below 4291. Okay, the Dow Jones has already closed below one of its very heavy support level, which was earlier, helping the Dow Jones to hold. But now the Dow Jones has given up that the support level. And if you are thinking that because it was bearish and it is coming down, so the stochastic RSI is bearish, no, absolutely not. So stochastic RSI is non-zero, right? Just like S&P 500, it is still non-zero. What does that mean? This means that the bearish pressure that we are seeing in the S&P 500, it is not just in the S&P 500 or because of the S&P 500, or you can simply say that it can also be seen here through the Dow Jones. Okay, and because the Dow Jones is the face of the economy, and most of the times it is the Dow Jones that drives the entire US stock market, this means that the bearishness that we are expecting, this bearishness is expected to come through the Dow Jones, and then it will join the hands together with the S&P 500 bearishness, and once the S&P 500 closes below this, the 4265, as of now this number will change, 4265, okay, because this is the 200-day EMA. Okay, and the moving average, it is not a constant average, it is the moving average. Okay, so it is every day it is changing. So once the S&P 500 closes below this, the 4265 or the 200-day EMA, then further bearish pressure will be there. Okay, now this the Dow Jones is clear, I hope, and the movement because of the Dow Jones. So numbers, yes, okay. So now, as of now, remember, okay, just let me try to make it simple, that we have 4291, it is clear. What this is 4291. Okay, everything above 4291 indicates that the S&P 500 can still hold bullish. Okay, everything, or there's a movement below 4291 indicates or confirms that now the S&P 500 is going bearish and it will trade bearish. So how this that 4291 works? Last time what happened? Last time S&P 500 was struggling to clear the 4291 in the bull side. But once the S&P 500 has cleared the 4291, we have seen this, right? And in the same manner, the S&P 500, it came down, trading bearish, came down to 3,700 something. Then, okay, we have seen a reversal. And again, it came back to where? It came back to 4291, right? Hit 4291, failed to sustain at 4291 again, 200, 300 points down. Okay. So, see, I have already discussed the 4291 a many a times, okay, in last many months. Okay. But still, for those, okay, who are watching this video for the very first time, okay, for them. So again, see, this 4291 is not a standard pivot level, or is not a standard resistance or support level that you can find anywhere. Okay. And so if you are curious to know, then this is my calculated support and resistance level, and whatever I give to my members, okay, 4291, okay, or 4237 and all. So these are my own calculated levels. Okay. And okay, fine. 4291 clear. This means that if we see what minimum two, yes, two consecutive closings below 4291. So we have seen one on Friday. If there comes one more closing that is below 4291 on Monday, okay, then this is almost kind of confirmed that it is not going to sustain. Okay, most likely it is going to give up. Okay. If there comes a third closing below 4291, further, okay, down. This means that now okay, this kind of situation that earlier it was struggling, then it was able to move up and it went bullish. Where to? 4527 and above, right? And this time, once it gives up 4291, then it will be coming down to where? Remember, 4035. 4035, because it will be, the S&P 500 will be under obligation. So just like this one, I mentioned to my Patreon community members that now the S&P 500 has fulfilled its obligation and hit the 4291. An absolute hit, a hit, perfect hit is required in order to fulfill its obligation. Now, if you think that from 4291 to 4035, it will come down within a day, within 2-3 days, it may or may not. But the thing is that eventually, once the S&P 500 starts to trade below 4291, then sooner or later, maybe in 2 days, maybe in 20 days, maybe in 2 months, it will be coming down to 4035. Okay, intermittently there will be levels like 4155, okay, 4185 or so. But okay, eventually it will go and it will hit, right? So now you know that where it will be heading to in this particular case. So 4035, 4291. Fine. So now, as we are anticipating a gap down open on Monday, or irrespective of any open, a bearish movement on Monday. Okay, and one more thing, guys, because the 200-day EMA has already given more than enough support. So this means that now the 4291 will decide the fate of the stock market, fate of the S&P 500, and not the 200-day EMA, right? So this means that on Monday, okay, means whenever we see this a gap down open, or irrespective of any open up bearish movement, if there comes a gap up open, in that case it will be coming down to around 4300 or so. Okay, 4300 or 4291 again to test 4291, and then we will see whether the S&P 500 managed to sustain above 4291 or not. If it does, in that case it can hold and it can get a reversal. Okay, it can get a reversal around these levels. That will be 4350, you can say, yeah, 4350, or a little bit around 4350, and then again it will realign itself to the trend. Okay, so see, there is not much there in the bull side. Moving averages will restrict the reversal, the levels will restrict the reversal. Okay, these the confluence zones will restrict the reversal. Okay, and to trade in the bullish side, okay, either there must come supportive news, okay, means any kind of supportive news, good news, something extremely positive for the stock market, okay, or simply manipulation. These are the two cases when we can expect this, the bullish reversal towards 4350 or beyond 4350. Okay, this is there in the bull side. But yes, remember that if you see that it is moving up, then this is not the bullish trend. No, this is not the bullish trend. Okay, this is simply going to form this, the what we say, the lower high, and then eventually it will give up, right? Now comes the second part. Okay, this second part is the bearish side. Okay, uh, the bearish side. Now in the bearish side, okay, let's say irrespective of any open, okay, whether a gap up open or the gap down open, S&P 500 whenever it comes down, okay, first it will test 4291. Okay, a sustained movement above 4291, you know what will happen. Now if the S&P 500 fails and sustains below 4291, trades below 4291, okay, and closes below 4291 on Monday, in that case what will happen? And this will be better, it will be, much better if the S&P 500 closes below 4265. 4265, if the S&P 500 closes below 4265 on Monday, because in that case this will confirm, so there will be a double confirmation. Number one, that two consecutive closings, red candles below 4291, and other than that a closing below 200-day EMA. Okay, so it will simply bring more bearish sentiment that will help the S&P 500 to trade below 4291, right? Now, so anyways, 4265, now it is not that strong. If you think that it is that much strong, no, it is not. It is actually the 4291. Okay, so if there comes a closing that is below 4291 on Monday, then it is kind of confirmed. Okay, not that absolute confirm 100%, but now it is kind of confirmed that now there is nothing beyond 4291, means in the bull side, rather everything now will be seen in this the bearish side. Okay, so now whenever it will be coming down, it will be coming down to what? It will be coming down to, historically if you see, okay, so we have 4185, 4185. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we have 4035. Okay, so see, as of now, that's once this kind of condition is seen, in that case the S&P 500 will then embark on a journey towards 4035. But from 4291 to 4035, it will get intermittent supports, it will take some breaks, some reversal. Okay, so but eventually, like, it will come down, reversal, come down, reversal, come down, and so okay, this will be the natural flow. Now in between 4265 and 4185, there are some other levels. That so the next week from 4288, the current closing, to 4185, only 2.5%. No, this is not enough. From 4288 to 4101, 4035, 5%, 5.5%. So this means that if the Dow Jones supports this much of fall, in that case, in the next week, by Friday itself, the S&P 500 may hit 4035. If not a perfect hit, then it may reach close to 4035. But whether the S&P 500 will be able to reach to 4035 or not, it will be defined at 4185. See guys, we are technical, okay, and here I'm doing this, the technical analysis, okay, the numbers, the technical indicators and all. Okay, so yes, there are factors like non-technical factors, news, data, okay, government shutdown. Okay, these are the factors that may influence or not may influence, that can influence the S&P 500 and the movement of the entire US stock market. However, the S&P 500 and the entire stock market, okay, after giving an intraday reaction to that news, it will simply align itself to the trend. So if you also want to learn about these technical indicators, the technical movement, if you also want to predict, okay, everything before it happens in the stock market, then this is my program, S&P 500 knowledge transfer program. Okay, I teach everything here, so you can simply look into this. This is the spreadsheet, okay, detail. I mention everything in detail here. So I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. So if you really wants to learn, if you really wants to become self-reliant, in that case you can look into the program, right? So now we were talking about this, the bearish trend. Okay, now bearish movement, when I say that it will be coming down to these levels, 4265, 4237, 4155, 4185, okay, and some very important intermittent levels, definitely. Okay, And if the S&P 500 with or without Dow Jones finds the support or gets the support, okay, in that case it will see a reversal. But the magic, or this the important part, is that any reversal will then be limited to what? Any reversal will then be limited to 4265. What is 4265? It is the 200-day EMA. Approximately this number will change by 2, 3, 4 points. Okay, it's the moving average. It is changing every day. Then this any reversal will be limited to 4265. And even in the best case scenario, let's say the S&P 500 is trading around 4000, let's say 4237. Consider 4237. It is trading around 4237. Okay, just plus minus some points. And there comes a positive news. Okay, then how the S&P 500 will react to that? Number one, you must understand, trend is bearish. Number two, that at that time the S&P 500 will be trading below 4291. Okay, and above 4291 bullish, below 4291 bearish, means this side. This means that even if there comes a positive news or a very heavy positive news, then wherever the S&P 500 is trading, any reversal will be limited to the 200-day EMA or maximum up to 4291. Okay, this is the small zone around 4291. And if you see that on September 26th itself, okay, I mentioned this the number 40352 to my Patreon community members. Right, so my Patreon community members, they are very well aware of the things even before the things happen, and they can see, okay, what and they can see what is expected to happen in the coming time, okay, in the coming days, in the week, and where the actual movement will be, and where the S&P 500 will be heading to, or the Dow Jones will be heading to, right? Anyways, so now it is clear that whatever levels the S&P 500 will be trading at or around, by the time this the positive news comes into the picture, any reversal will be limited to 4291 and then again a fall. Okay, just like I mentioned here, it moved up heavily, then failed and came down 200 points or 300 points, right? So guys, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to get these the daily updates, the daily analysis of the S&P 500 from Monday through Friday, as well as these the stock market opportunities in the premium stocks of the US stock market, then you can join my Patreon community. And other than that, if you do not want to take any chances, or if you do not have much the proper knowledge, then either you can participate in my S&P 500 or the stock market knowledge transfer program in order to learn. But if you do not want to do anything and you want to grow your money, then you can participate in the program that is 30% returns in 1 year. Okay, and I will help you grow your money. So guys, I've given the links to my programs, my services here in the description of the video and also in the comment section. And guys, hit like if you have liked this video, and if you have any questions that you want to ask, then please feel free to ask your question through the comment section. So guys, this was my S&P 500 weekly technical analysis for the coming week, that is from October 2nd, which is Monday, through October 6th, that will be Friday.